What's up, YouTube? Punk Metal Dow here with a sort of impromptu video. So I apologize if I'm kind of stuttering throughout this, but there's something that I just kind of feel really needs to be said. Within the last 2, maybe 3 days, I believe it's been 2 days, we've had 2 shootings already. And unfortunately, this just kind of seems like a very common theme, and it's something that never really gets resolved, obviously, because this has been going on for quite some time. It really kind of started way back with the Columbine incident, and naturally that led to a brash of school shootings, and then there's just been shootings altogether. We've had shootings in holy places, and here recently we've had a shooting at a garlic festival in California, I believe. And there was a shooting at a Walmart by a disgruntled employee. And to my knowledge, the combined death toll, unfortunately, with these incidents is 5 people. And if you're the kind of person that's saying, well, that's not many, then I really don't know what to say to you. That's really a sad statement to make, isn't it? But if the death toll was 1, that would be unacceptable, in my opinion. And it's just really sad to see this. To my knowledge, we don't know the motivation for the one in California. And the motivation, to me, almost doesn't even matter, because there's one central theme. There's one thing that does matter, and that's we are getting entirely too angry in this country and taking it out on everybody else. Whether it's we don't like someone's opinion and we try to strike it down, or even worse, incidents like this. We are not handling our anger correctly. Anger is a part of life. It always will be, no matter who you are. For some, it's a lot worse than others. Anger is something that I've dealt with for quite some time. But I have never in my life felt the need to act violently towards someone. And this is just something that I can't understand. I can't fathom. I can't understand why someone would want to go into a crowd and shoot people, even if they did know them, but especially unknown people. That I especially don't understand that. But like I said, I mean, even shooting people that you know, I can't fathom that. I have never been angry enough that I've actually wanted to hurt or kill someone. And I don't understand why here in America, where we have access to so many resources, we can't handle this correctly. And the only thing I can really say about the Walmart shooting, I work in retail. I've worked numerous retail jobs. Hell, I'm 35. I've worked numerous jobs, period. I've worked fast food. I've worked factories, warehouses. It was kind of a little hole in the wall, but I've basically worked at a casino. They tried to label it as a sandwich shop, but the biggest financial draw in was lottery tickets and slot machines, so casino. And other forms of gambling, but casino. I've worked in a hotel before, and all these jobs have stresses. Jobs have stresses. We have to learn to handle these things better. We have to realize that that's part of life. We have to stop seeing ourselves as victims when we're not, and understand when we actually are victims of something, and do something constructive about these things. And we have to seek help if we don't know what we need to do that is constructive. I may not be a violent person, but personally I play Mortal Kombat. I really like the game, and It helps me release a lot of stress. Um, People play first-person shooters. Some people drink tea. They meditate. They read. They watch television. They go home and they speak with a loved one, or they pet their dog or their cat, or they talk to a friend. I mean, these are all perfectly acceptable solutions, but not shooting anybody. And like I said, I work in retail. I understand how stressful it is, but there is nothing that validates what is going on and what happened in that shooting. There were the two deaths. One of them, I won't go into what the guy did. If you really want to know, it's all over the news. The news has a terrible way of really focusing on details that don't entirely matter. You know, and again, obviously, I don't mean that to say that the people who died don't matter. They go into what exactly he did while he was there, and some will give you the name and the picture of the person. None of those things matter. In fact, that makes them a celebrity. So why are we making these people celebrities? But I won't go into the horrible things he did, but apparently at one point he had some sort of issue with his manager and he came back for revenge, essentially. And the manager, who has two children and I believe a wife, but even if he doesn't have a wife, even if he just has the two children, which, I mean, actually that makes it worse. What did those children ever do to him? If they only have a mother left, what did they ever do to him to deserve that? And what did the wife ever do to him to deserve that? But let's just say that he doesn't have a wife. I mean, now what do those children do? Well, I guess the court turns them over to mom. I guess it's, but I mean that doesn't make it any better, honestly. So now the children not only have to suffer the loss of their father, but they have to get tied up in litigation. I mean, you know, I've never had to go through the courts. Luckily, both my parents are together. I've never had to go through that crap. But, I mean, from what I hear at least, you know, from people who have, it's a nightmare. You know, I mean, there's even a possibility they could just get turned over to the state and, you know, have to be adopted. I mean, all these things are, I don't know, it depends. I think it depends a lot on state laws and all that, but that really doesn't even fully matter. The bottom line, regardless of what exactly they're looking at, is these children did nothing to this person, and now their father's gone. The news that I saw didn't really give a lot of detail about the other victim, but that could be another scenario as well. We don't know if he had children or not. But regardless of whether he did or not, I mean, let's just take the children out of the equation. Okay, so obviously, you know, two people came together and created life, and they raised that person into an adult. What did those people ever do to deserve to lose someone? And I almost think that's part of the anger, is we don't think about these things. We don't think about all the other people that a situation like this will hurt, do we? We think about ourselves. Which, yeah, to some degree we do have to think about ourselves, but all things in moderation. Don't only think of yourself. Don't only think of others. Both lead to misery. Take some time for yourself, but also do some good for the people around you. I guess that's all I really can say. Like I said, this is impromptu. I can't really think of anything else other than I just can't fathom how people can do this to other people, how they can not think about the the victims it creates, and how they can just absolutely not care about the victims it creates. I'm not even really going to do the typical outro. I'm not going to sit here in a video like this and try to promote myself. I will say, though, that we, as a nation, need to start thinking about more than ourselves. We need to start thinking about more than our wallets. We need to start thinking about more than our egos. We need to think about the fact that no matter what kind of person you're talking about, at the end of the day, the non-variable is person. We need to get over ourselves. We need to better educate ourselves. We need to learn to handle things better. We need to stop constantly victimizing each other. We need to bring the united back in the United States of America, because this is getting completely and utterly out of control. It's to the point where every time we see about a shooting in the news, most people aren't even shocked by it anymore. And that's a problem.